Hello and welcome to Debrief 3
Woo!
with Miss Hannah
Miss Laura.
Miss Sarah.
and our special guest,
Miss Katie. Yippee.
Miss Katie. So, Miss Katie, tell us who you are, where you're from, what you teach, because they know us, they don't know you.
Hey, I'm Katie. I'm from Scotland. Moved here
Best land.
6-7 months ago.
Ooh,
And I
that
teach
long?
grade 1.
that's crazy. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you finding it?
Very different, but
Yeah.
nice.
Nice. Is this your first year teaching?
No, that's nice. Second year teaching now.
Nice. Yeah. Lovely.
How is everybody else?
I've gotten
That's good.
Not quite a dramatic week, but
Yeah.
oh, you did. Come on.
Yeah.
We'll not talk about it there.
Yeah. I feel like I'm tired.
I've had a great week.
Yeah.
I thought I'd never hear you say that.
That's good. That's
Why have you had a great week?
I've had half my class off.
Hold up the food.
I asked Katie how was her day the other day. She went good, and I was like, what?
Shock.
I nearly fell off my seat.
Right. Got we icebreaker, we just start.
What flavour crisps are we?
We'll just start. You've all made fun of my icebreakers, so we're not doing it now. So today we're going to talk about technology and books in the classroom and how we use them, and we're going to discuss what we prefer to use, how we use both, and then will one take over from the other. So first question, what role do traditional books play in the development of students? So how do you use, why are you touching me?
No, I accidentally hit
Okay.
you.
Um,
Alright, girl. Why are you touching me? That's some sort of disease, you know. Rude.
sorry.
No.
How do you use how do you use books in the classroom?
And books, you mean all books?
All
textbooks.
books, like textbooks, workbooks, reading books.
E-books?
Ah.
No.
Books, physical books that you can touch. Okay.
Last night.
Yeah.
Go on, Katie.
I think because I teach grade 1 and my experiences with the younger ones, I think physical books and actually reading to them is really important. I remember learning something in uni that really stuck with me, and it was something like the more that they're read to growing up, the more words, vocabulary that they learn. And it's like by the time they're at school, they'll know like so many hundred words already if they get read to by their parents and their teachers. So.
Oh,
I like that.
And that's good as well, because sometimes I find I'm reading something and I'll just change the words because I know they won't know that.
Yeah.
But then how are they ever going to know
I know.
those words unless you just,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it kind of
sprinkle 'em
teaches
in.
them the concept.
Exactly.
words,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But then on the other side, textbooks I don't enjoy as much in the other
No,
classrooms
no.
because it's hard to get them to know how they work and how to use them, and obviously their reading skills are not as good yet. So getting them to read questions, things like that, it takes a while.
Yeah. I find as well the younger classes, when I taught grade 1, the science textbooks or even English, when it was like, who wants to read? Like it took us so long to read it because it's not anyone's, like it's just their level that I was like, okay, that's the lesson over now, you know. So it's like, oh, then me reading to them, I was like, right, you follow along. I thought helped a lot more. But I was guilty of changing the words as well when I taught grade 1, like especially in history and stuff. I would change the wording, and I was like, no, actually, you're right. They will.
Just say it.
Today I said use vibrant colors for art, and my kids all went, what does vibrant mean? And I was like, oh. And I was like, right, colorful, like.
Sometimes you don't even realize it.
No, and I just thought, oh, I
Yeah.
assumed that was a word.
Well, my kids knew rational and irrational today. We're doing phobias, and I was like, this must be a Gen Alpha thing or something. Maybe there's something go around TikTok. I don't know. But they all knew. I didn't really have to explain it much. Okay. But I find textbooks. I mean, I teach the oldest, and they just open up next page, look at it, they write in it, they like to highlight in it and everything. It works for them, but you know, by that stage, they know how to use it, and
Yeah, mine are the same. Like they just know how to use it because they're so used to it.
Like I must say, for like maths like, because I'm using White Rose this year, the actual workbooks, it's so much easier that they just like you're going to do the 4 pages on the topic, they go for it, do it. And then I have it as well on the screen, so it like links to both. I know I'm jumping ahead, but it's like they can just physically do it in the book and we're done.
Yeah.
And it's so much, I don't know, it's just so nice to have it there and not like have to print it, not have to look for it. They just open the book. So,
yeah. We've started something new. So like in history, because I know next year in high school they're going to have to get used to taking notes from PowerPoints. So our history, they have to write it down. I won't print off the PowerPoint slides for them. Yeah. So, but they're doing really well. So they're learning how to write notes and everything, and it's just in their jotters, and they like it. Actually, as well, the textbook, especially for English, any exercises in it, unless it's comprehension, everything else, I get them to do on their whiteboards or to discuss with each other. So every time I ask them to open their workbooks, they're like, oh. And I was like, why? I loved the workbook when I was younger. And they said, oh, because we have to do work in it. But they don't realize they are on the whiteboard. But it's just fun, you know? Yeah. Textbooks are cool in my class.
They are cool. My class don't like them, but they're just used to them. You know what I mean?
I think that's the thing as well. As a school, we haven't moved away from using books.
Yeah.
So I think for them that is normal. Like they have their English, their maths, their science workbooks, student books. They're used to it.
Yeah. Like on placement last year, like we none of them had textbooks.
For any subject.
No. Same for me. The textbooks weren't a thing.
We didn't. Well, I primary 2, 3 last year composite, and we didn't start introducing a maths textbook for the primary 3s until the last term.
Yeah, wow.
It was all just active stuff and the jotters and stuff.
Well, year 3 and 4, which like none of them had textbook. It was all just like in your book.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna. The good thing was that Sarah and I both taught here long enough for COVID, and it was like we were. Do you remember? It was like your class have to go home for the week. Because do you remember that when it was like some of the kids ended up with like literally we had cases in the class. Kids
yes.
And it was like go home.
Yes.
So then I was like take all your books home.
Yes.
And that actually was pretty good because then I just was able to write 2 pages, whatever in your textbook, and that was helpful for that. Which I'd never, like, before we had complained, like, oh, textbooks, but actually it would have been so much more of a faff.
Yeah,
if we didn't have textbooks.
And also for tests, because parents will often ask me,
yes, can we bring the book home?
Yeah, take the book home, and then I just say, yes, study these pages, and it really helps for tests. Sometimes as well in class, I might not refer to everything in the textbook, and I'll just be like, just that's for you studying at home. But it's nice, for me, it's nice to have a base to be like, okay, I know they need to cover this area. You know, I haven't missed anything.
No. And I'm guilty as well of, like, especially for English, just picking up the kids' student book and they're like, right, this is the lesson today. Like, I know where we're going, obviously, but it's like, I just teach from it. Because I'm like, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel and have like a PowerPoint. We're just use the book. Probably English is about the only lesson I don't use a screen. And I only use the books. Like like okay, now it's a Promethean, we have to write the date on it, but I use it as a whiteboard, not as like we're not doing anything else. It's book, we're doing books.
You wouldn't really need a screen for it.
No, not unless even if I was going to show a picture in the book. So it's nice and like obviously reading is still a thing in classes. So like they're gonna read. I don't ever have them read ebooks. Like it's always if there's reading time, it's go and get a book from the library, sit on my carpet and read.
I think ebooks are good. I had last year when it was quite high type autism, and he would not sit with a reading group. He would not sit. So we had him on this online ebook program, and that really helped him to just read a book physically. So it got him reading.
Interesting. Was it because of the fact it was on a screen? He liked that.
Probably. I just think he didn't like he couldn't sit in a group setting. He just couldn't do it.
Interesting.
It got him reading. So.
I have a book club, and one girl in your class brings Kindle, and in my class too. And I'm like,
but I think this is going to sound really silly. I think a Kindle is different than using a tablet to read.
Yes.
And I don't really know why I think that, but I do think it is.
It's different. It doesn't work the same as a screen, so it's supposed to be easier on the eyes than it is.
So,
I think I read faster with my Kindle than a physical book.
Yeah.
You love your wee Kindle.
I do love my Kindle.
Got it for
Very
Christmas.
handy.
Thanks, Mum and Dad. Shout out Helen. We should get Helen on the podcast. The longest episode ever. It would do. It would. Yeah, she loves a chat.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she does.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Why not?
Bring all our mums.
I would love Helen on.
All the mums.
Yeah.
I know. Happy? Yeah. Okay, so what are some advantages then of incorporating technology in the classroom? So how do you, using the textbooks, like how do you use the technology to like mix up your lessons? And what do you do?
I would say like, okay, look at for like times table thing, like we did it this last 20 minutes today, and that was they know their times tables now because it's fun, it's a game, it's you know, so that within maths has been really handy.
Yes.
A kid said to me, this is very random, but a kid in my class came up today and this was on TikTok last night, and this guy was talking about Kahoots and everything and how we should use it, and we said I went on the comments and everyone was like, we played Look It instead.
Yeah. I know, like it seems to be Look It's the newest thing.
And I said, I started the trend.
You did. You did. Thanks, Miss Laura.
Yeah, because I was like, what is this Look It thing?
I know, I hadn't heard of it because we'd always use Kahoot.
Yeah.
And we were all crazy about Kahoot here, and now it's like, oh, the next thing. So,
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I guess the technology is good for just getting more and different examples of things.
Yes.
You can get things quicker, and like there's just so much out there in the internet that you can just use, like you were saying about not reinventing the wheel. I think sometimes when you're going from the same books all the time, it's a bit restrictive. And there are so many things out there that you can use that are obviously the same subject or topic but are a little bit different.
Yeah, mixing it up, like not always being on a screen, not always being in a book, but having a mixture. I was just thinking is there such a thing as a textbook that has little QR codes or something in it, or you have it? Because that's cool.
Yeah, I used to have it on my wall last year in our camp corner. It was like QR codes to ebooks, like audio books, and they could use the iPads.
That's cool.
That. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. The Rhino readers have QR codes in the books that we're using, so that they can scan it because I'd sent home comprehension and at the bottom it was like, scan this for help. I was like, oh, wonderful. I thought, but then the parents don't have to ask me; they can.
That's really good.
So,
one of my placement schools, this was actually just popped into my head. One of my placement schools had every single kid in the school had their own iPad.
Yeah.
There are some schools where they class sets and it's
but they use them for everything.
Oh yeah,
everything.
But I don't know if I like that because it's gonna come away with they're not gonna be able to write, they're not gonna be able to do, or even just sit and have a conversation without having something in front of you.
You're on your screen so much when you're at home, out and about, and then you're also in school. Like I find if I'll have days where I'm like, okay, there's minimal screen, I just don't have it up. I mean, the behavior is, you know, they're a bit more feisty and stuff, but because I feel like it's this addiction that they're used to,
they need it,
and then they're just going through withdrawal in school. But I'm just thinking, I don't want them always on a screen in school too, and I know loads of them have it at home.
But you can tell that the kids who aren't on the screen as much as
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because when you put like, say like Friday afternoon, sometimes a little bit of a film on, the kids are like, they're obviously not watching films at home. Whereas the other kids, I've seen this before, I don't want to watch it. And I'm like, watch it. Like, it blows my mind. I think I use it for science quite a lot. Twinkle we're doing the human body at the minute, and Twinkle has the 3D models. And with the board, like they can spin the thing spins. So then the kids were like just up at the screen spinning around this heart, and I was like, just look at it, and they're looking at all the parts. No, sorry guys, I don't do that.
What?
Like can't say
Yeah.
it on board.
Yeah, I think it's just the interactiveness of all the technology now. It can just
Yeah.
make learning so much more active.
Mm.
I think, well, back home in Scotland, it's very big to make, especially for the younger ones, learning more active because it's visual for them.
Yeah, get them out of their seats and go and move and do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even I've tried this year more in grade 3 to do more kind of projecty things for history and geography group work. So we've got the tablets and I had given them all an endangered animal and I'd given them like a link on it. So I was like, right, you're going to research, do your fact file. And they were like blown away that they were using the tablet to research, then writing it on paper. They went, and I was like, this is so
Yeah.
I do that.
normal.
I do that with my lot.
For research too.
Yeah.
It's easier the older grades as well.
Of course, yeah.
Because I use that too, especially in
And they
English.
really liked it.
Yeah.
We're doing that next week
Oh,
for oceans.
have fun.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you will be.
Yeah.
I have a little QR code to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
I've been slowly trying to drip feed them time with the tablets
Yeah.
so
Good.
they get used to it.
Yeah.
They're just so scared with the wee ones that they're going to break it.
Oh yeah. I hadn't
Oh,
thought
I-
of that.
I'm so scared about it every time
Do
I
we
get
reckon?
them.
Well, I did
Uh-huh.
have. When was that? 2 years ago? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think everyone.
It's actually the
Was
class.
Did it smash the screen?
It's the class I have now.
Oh.
Again, when I had them in grade 1, one of the kids and they dropped it, and oh man, all the bits went everywhere, and I was like,
Oh, I cried.
no, I really could have.
Uh,
Then I had to go up and be like, oh, but yeah. But it like you also
Surprise
gotta-
doesn't happen more often.
see that was the thing as well. It was.
At least
just
it
the
was only
once.
one tablet. It
Yeah,
wasn't the
no,
whole
it
thing.
wasn't the
You know
whole
what I mean?
thing. Yeah. No, so but you have to let them
Yeah.
chance it and
Yeah.
take some responsibility. You
Yeah,
have
and
to
that's a
look
good
after
way. I like
yours.
that you're
Yeah.
dripping it in because otherwise it's either all
Yeah.
or nothing, you know, and they
Yeah.
need to learn to regulate
So like
themselves.
it's like if you drip feed it, it's like a treat for them.
Yes.
It's not oh we're getting tablets and getting
No,
to the
yeah.
end. Like,
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And you get bored of them.
Yeah.
So, how do you think the technology is affecting children's social skills compared to when they're doing something with textbooks? So, what do you think the differences are, like behavior-wise,
Oh,
and social
like
skills?
last
and-
period today, I mean, okay, we're doing look, it's great, but they can't. There's just like this whole focus,
Yeah.
and but then earlier today we're doing English, and it was just all textbook based, and it was asking each other questions and stuff. It was about phobias, and they were so into it and engaging with each other and laughing and talking about their different phobias and everything. And it was such a difference. End of the day, and then we finished. The bell went, and everyone just looks up bleary-eyed and depressed, and then they walk out, and I'm like, it's okay if you didn't win. You know?
It's just a game.
Not the end of the
Yeah.
world.
But such
Yeah.
a difference
Oh,
today.
yeah.
Seeing
Yeah.
that. And then that was just
Yeah.
from a textbook, and that was
Mm.
you
I
know,
think
a screen.
the concentration spans of not all kids, but some kids,
Yeah.
especially since COVID, because they have had that time to be on technology a lot
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
When they've come back to school now, when it comes to textbook work or even on tablets, things they're so used to things coming so fast to them and changing
Yeah.
that they just get bored.
Yeah.
Why do I
Really
have to
quickly.
wait?
Yeah,
You have to wait.
yeah.
Just the way it is.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah.
I know.
So
Funny. Yeah.
It does help more their conversation skills when they're away from it,
mm,
and they're just, you know, being at school and everything, and
Yeah.
and oftentimes I think we're all the same. Like we ask them to turn in their groups to discuss this or ask each other questions. I got them to write up their own quizzes for each other, and they gave it to another group, and they had to bring it back and mark
Yeah.
them. And that was all just paper and pen and their heads.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and they really like that.
yeah.
Um, yeah, when you bring in a screen, sometimes it's
It kind of isolates them as well.
Yeah.
Like when we're playing Blue Kit, it depends on the game.
yeah,
And I do love it. But you know when it's which the Blue Rush where they're in teams. Oh my goodness, it's chaos.
No, we never
It's
Really?
chaos in my room. They're screaming across the room. You defended, I attacked. I'm like, inside voices.
Well,
like,
actually,
what are we doing?
I know
Like,
we're
you
too loud one day and I emptied it. We put the
Yeah.
hits.
Oh, I do the same. I just go on breath. Nope. And then they're like, I was like, you're screaming. We don't need to. But like, if it's like they have to read something and find the answer, it's dead quiet. But they have to read.
Mhm.
They've worked out they can't read and talk at the same time, and I'm like, no. No. But yeah. How do you balance the use of both in the classroom? Like, how do you balance using books and technology?
I'd be more heavy on less technology. I've become more like that because I studied in Scotland too, and that was very, wow, you can use this and this, and a lot of my tutors were saying that. And then I just like looking into just seeing the difference from when I was first teaching 7 years ago to now. Kids concentrate, especially after COVID, is just so down. It's almost made me anti-technology, but then I know I still need to use it because there's so many things you can use. So for me, it's actually quite hard because I'll more tend towards things that aren't technology. But then, I don't know, balance is hard.
Yeah, I think it can be hard, especially if you're in a school that goes by certain schemes.
That's true.
Oh
If a certain scheme is mainly online, then you need to use the online platform of it. So it can really depend.
Yeah, because I would say we have a very good mix in school here of what's online and what's not. Like even the computer this year with the textbooks that they're following, I find their lessons have been more like, I don't know, they're more focused because they can do it by themselves. And if there's not the waiting around for me, like they're read, do. Because I was doing it with grade 2 today, and some of them were like, Miss, can we just do the page ourselves? And I was like, yeah, of course you can. So they were following it, and I was like, it matches up, and I was like, cool. So then I was like, that's the perfect balance of using both. And how it worked together.
I wish my mum would ask quite so many questions.
They were so quiet. I was amazed. I was like, all right, grade 2.
Grade 2 could show my grade 5.
I know.
I feel like my grade 5's can't. Like, I don't think you can't work on a computer. It's quite funny actually. Like some of the boys can, some of the girls don't have a clue.
It's interesting how I've introduced tablets to grade 1. And lots of them know how to work it, but when I went to computer street, they had no idea
Did you have
how to
kids?
work a desktop.
I had kids. My first ever time I taught grade 1 was your class that you have now. I remember going, and some of them, they sat down and they lifted the mouse and they started shaking it. And then, Miss, it's not moving on the screen. And I was like, oh, put it on the table.
They go like this.
They taught me it's not touch screen.
Even just typing, it takes forever.
And I'm like,
I remember I was typing one day on the board, like I was typing, and I was typing so fast. I was like, I'm used to it. Like I just type all around.
So then the touch typing, like I know we've all done it, and it's just like, but then they're like, how do I get my finger over here? And I was like, use your little finger because they're here. And I'm like, no, your thumb is going to do the space bar. And they were like, oh my goodness, it was crazy.
It's so funny. Mine, that to log into touch typing, they do this, and then it's where they're into touch typing, and then they're doing it the proper way. And I'm like, why don't you try logging in the front? You know, very comical. One asked me or said, Miss, my laptop's not working here. Laptop.
Where's the laptop? Or I'll say, right, you need to switch the computer on, and they touch the monitor. And I'm like, that's the monitor, and they're like, oh. I'm like, under the table. What? Like,
it's such a difference from like our generation, which was all computers, that was, and then you had the on your phone. You're like, wow, that's cool.
Well, our monitors had like the big bit out the back.
Yeah.
You know, in school, like that was
mine's had this.
Yours had this. Okay.
Phew.
We're not that old. But yeah. So.
We had a big white one at home.
Yeah.
Big white one.
Too.
Yeah.
But now it's like they're so used to tablet and typing and
Yeah, because we were watching Spy Watch and they have like an old computer in it. And I'm like, Miss, what is that? What is a computer?
Yeah. But even like when they're texting, like, well, I know we text with our thumbs, but like my mum, have you ever watched your mum text? Maybe it's just my mum.
I've started doing that. I'll just go like this. I know. It's great.
It's just like, I'll be like this, and then mum's like,
we get my glasses and
we're I'm like, Mum, use your thumbs. And she's like, why would I use my thumbs? And I'm like,
and then my mum does this, take a photograph.
Oh, mine does the same.
And squints her eyes, she can't find her glasses.
But I saw this thing actually that, you know the way we're in bed, like, well, I lie in bed, and TikTok or Instagram scroll,
send me over
that you have a dent on your little finger now. But I'm actually pretty confident I do have it.
Because you hold your phone.
Because you hold your phone like this. And the weight of your phone,
there's a dent there.
It's changing the shape of your finger. Yeah, like look, I know. There is a creep. I know. Look, yeah.
And I don't even have a big phone.
No.
Mine's tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
But
that
mine-
mad?
That's scary. That's like
Yeah.
the dent people have in their
With
heads with the headphones.
I
Yeah.
saw that the other day too, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Guys, this is scary.
Yes. I don't wear
Like
headphones.
a lot of gamers are now finding they have a dent in their head.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gamers, so.
Well, on that note, do you think technology will ever replace books in the classroom?
Yes.
Do your phone back.
Yes.
I think it's inevitable.
I don't know.
You see,
Hi.
have you seen the
Yeah.
documentary that's in Sweden? What they did in a school where
Trying to bring
they
this up.
had, I know, they had, because they've been doing it. They've had tablets for ages, or
Yeah.
I think they call them Chromebooks. And then the teacher just
They
decided.
are Chromebooks.
They call them a group.
I don't know what
They
they're
are.
called anymore. Yeah, the Chromebooks. Okay.
Well, Granny Sarah in the corner here.
I type with one finger.
So they said, right, we're just gonna. They introduced textbooks, and
Yeah.
the kids fell in love with them. They were like,
Oh,
we can turn to the, and they just. You need to watch it.
okay.
It's on,
What's it
so
on?
they've gone back. So I think it's a DW documentary.
So they've
Just
taken
a short one, yeah.
the others. Right.
Yeah, they've gone back.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, that's really interesting because we haven't even got there yet with the whole
Yeah.
tablet
No.
situation.
Yeah.
But I,
Yeah. But I don't know, like, what do we do with, I'm looking at your library, then what do you do with books in the
Yeah.
classroom?
And actually,
Or will they just become decoration where kids don't even know how to open a book and read it?
well, we were watching a thing, a news round, and it was talking about how artificial intelligence is going to replace teachers.
Ooh.
Oh, scary.
Yeah.
I know, but like,
that's so
they,
sad.
but then the kids
I
were
know.
saying why, because the kids were saying, but miss, you wouldn't have like same like fun with an
Yeah.
AI,
Of
like it would.
course,
They said
yeah.
it would just be so boring because you don't have someone there.
It would be so
Yeah.
factual.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
about behaviour? It's not going to be like
Yeah, exactly.
kick the kids out that are
Then someone was like, yeah, we got no homework. I'm like, I will.
I think it will still
But
set homework.
there's definitely something for things that are physical that's just good for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then, I mean, you know, when you're off
I
screen,
know.
you get a headache
Yeah.
when you're too long on a screen. I mean, that just
Yeah.
in
I
itself
know.
proves you can't be on it that long.
Yeah.
Like, but there's so much. There's some things that you
Chromebooks.
the Chromebooks. Like there are lessons that you have to physically do stuff.
Yeah.
Like when in math, like I know you've done it with like their number bonds when they're breaking the blocks
Mm.
physically.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, we can draw that, and you could do that digitally or on whiteboard, whatever. But the actual physical breaking, like it just
Yeah.
helps with everything. And art as well. Like I know graphic design is a big thing, but is it going to replace
Yeah.
us physically painting,
Well,
using oil pastels,
yeah.
using?
Scary.
I don't know.
But one of my tutors in university was like, do we even need to teach kids how to handwrite anymore? Because
So
they
they
can
type
just,
and
everything?
yeah.
But they're saying like cursive as well. It just go away. We don't teach cursive anymore. Oh, yeah. we can still hear you.
Sorry.
But yeah, I
But
don't know.
that's kind of scary. If that's our future, that's scary.
Yeah.
I think
Very
it sort of
disconnected.
depends how like the top people in education want to take things. It's all their decision, really.
Yeah. Like I think you need to balance. There's
Yeah.
some subjects you really need the physical stuff, and some subjects, yes, I do agree that using technology is so much better. Like using in computer when they're programming little bee bots. There's no, I couldn't do that any other way than
No,
doing
yeah.
it, you know. And it's
I think a
yeah.
mixture is really good and it's healthy.
Yeah.
And it's teaching you that you can't, you know, rely on one
No.
or the other.
Yeah.
Like you just
You
can
do
be
need,
creative.
You need them to
Yeah.
mix together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Integrate.
A blend. Integrate. Ooh.
Imagine if we had AI teachers.
I know, but that's like, I don't know, silly thing to say.
Yeah.
But there's a school in the UK that are actually like trialing it, but it's like it's not like it's in London, so I think it's like
Well, I was, yeah,
you know,
You know.
I don't really know how to describe it.
We understand.
I was
I
teaching.
think they were using like
kids-
Chromebooks or something.
Oh, the crow, those things. No, I was teaching kids how to use ChatGPT like properly, you know, because all they no, but they're like
don't
using it all the
understand.
time at home. And I was like, no, this is how you
Yeah.
should use it.
Yeah.
You want to know more about a topic, type it in,
Yeah.
learn, ask it, you know,
It is
Sound like
handy for
It is
something,
for that,
Yeah.
yeah.
but
So-
it can't be your homework because we'll know it's not you.
Yeah, because you'll put it through the software and then you can be like, that is. Or you just know. There's no way that kid is
Some of the
written
kids, right,
like
like
that.
they did like a project, and I said one of the kids like used all these words, and when they were presenting it, they didn't even know how to say these
Yeah.
words.
Like, where did you get that?
And they looked at me for help, and I was like, I can't even say that word.
Yeah.
But for research, it's really good. I mean, it's so much easier than Google, and you're like, is this a reliable website or
Yeah,
not?
I know, and then you have to. Oh yeah.
I mean, not that ChatGPT is correct
No,
all the time,
it's
but it
for a
does.
quick answer.
It's very, yeah. It's
Yeah.
just
For podcast questions.
For
as well.
podcast questions.
what?
Sarah, you use
You would
it.
never, never. I thought of every question myself today. Anywho. On that note,
This is the awkward part now where we don't know how to end
I
it.
know, so thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments what you prefer, technology or books.
Or Chromebooks.
Chromebooks, yeah. Do you type with one finger or your thumbs? Do you have the pinky dent? Which I'm
Do the head dent.
Oh, that's worse.
Isn't that sad? Because usually the middle finger should have a bump
Yes,
for the
yeah,
pencil.
Yes, I do.
I do.
But mine's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mine's
From
on
your
the front.
I do
writing your
too.
GCSEs. Yeah.
Mine's on this one, so I don't hold a pencil properly.
oh.
What finger is it?
Yes,
Mine's
yeah.
on there.
Like, but I hold it weird, like twisted around.
What?
I don't hold a pencil
Okay.
properly.
I don't hold it like.
I don't even write.
Do you have a
You
bump
don't
on
even-
your middle finger here?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's from all those GCSEs I took and all the stupid A levels I did. They were all writing subjects.
I same go. I did the
Oh,
same thing.
I know.
Essay subjects.
Yeah. That's,
History.
yeah. Well.
Right, bye.
See you next week.